Welcome, 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 everyone. Hello, and welcome you to the next theory session, a very important theory session. This session is a must-to-watch. If other ones were complimentary, this one is a must-to-watch. We are actually going, this is a session that's directly related to the practice drawing of second module, okay? We are going to discuss the energy of the mother figure, the symbolism, the metaphor, the importance of the mother figure, why it's so important for us to connect and reconnect to the mother figure, how important, how significant it is, what a significant and important part of who we are, and essential. It's basically a part of our essence, and we're going to kind of rediscover it. I prepared a beautiful, wonderful presentation for you. Please join me. Please connect. Let's connect back. Let's discover the main essence at one point when we were just born, when we were infants, even when we were back as a fetus. That was not just an important part of essence of who we are, but it was the essence of who we are. Okay, because back when we were born, back when we were living in our mother's womb, we actually connected ourselves with the mother as a whole. And that's why it's so important, and it shaped who we are. It shaped an important part of our identity, and it's important to reconnect back to it, rediscover it, and add the necessary resources, which we're going to do. Today, we're going to discover it, and then during the practice, the drawing, we're going to rediscover, reconnect, and add the necessary resources to that essential part of who we are, okay? I'm going to share my presentation. Welcome to this wonderful, beautiful presentation as we're going to discuss our connection to the mother figure, what the mother figure represents to us, to our identity, and what it is that we need to connect in order to kind of this part of us, the connection to the mother figure will actually connect us to our inner child, okay? So let's start doing this, okay? Let's start connecting to the birthing of a new life, okay? Let's start connecting to the main figure that shaped the essence of who we are, that shaped our identity. I want you to do an exercise now, okay? You can stop the video, take a piece of paper. Those of you in my course, you can actually use this instead of the 2-minute brainstorming that we usually do. I'm going to do a different test today. We're going to do an association method by Carl Jung, okay? I want you to take a piece of paper. I'm going to show it to you, actually. Let me transfer my camera, and I want to show you. I want you to be able to understand what to do. Okay. Transfer my camera. Okay, what I want you to do is the following. Look, you're going to take a piece of paper. Okay, take as much time as you want. This is not a 2-minute brainstorm that we used to, okay? It doesn't take 2 minutes. It may take longer, but it's totally worthwhile to do this exercise, okay? This is what I want you to do. I want you to create numbers 1 to 16. Okay, now what we're going to do here, once I get quiet, once you stop the recording, you will write down 16 words that are associative in your mind with the word mother. Okay, I'm going to show you in the beginning. I'm not going to write all the words, but I want to show you a few words, okay? So write the word mother because that's what we are working with, the association with the word mother. Okay, I only wrote 8 just to show you what to do next, okay? You're going to write all 16. Please make sure you do this. It's very important to do this exercise for you to better understand what's going to happen in the rest of the presentation, okay? What you're going to do next is you're going to pair up the first two, okay? For example, I wrote the words warm and caring. I'm going to pair them up and think, what is my association with those two words, okay? It may repeat, it may. I don't want you to do it too much, but if it happens to repeat one of the words from here, it's okay. Try to come up with new words. If you can't, then just write the same, okay? Like I'm going to connect the words nurturing and love and write the word whatever comes associatively, okay? The words feed and nourish will bring me to the next association. Okay? And the word joy and interest will bring me to the word dance. Okay? Don't overanalyze it. Just write down whatever comes up. Okay? What you're going to do next is going further in creating further associations. You're going to connect those two words on the list. Okay? Okay, you see what happened? Now I have 2 words left. You guys are going to do this till the end. You're going to have 16 words, and you're going to have 8 words, then you're going to have 4 words, and you're going to have 2 words. Okay, what I'm doing now, you're going to have the last one. Okay, I'm going to connect those 2 words and think, what is the association I will have? You need to be left. At the end, you will be left, of course, with 1 word. Okay. Okay, I wrote 2 words, but I know this is the word I really want to write. Okay, guys, finish doing this exercise. Do me a favor, do the exercise. Do not underestimate the importance of this exercise. Write it down, do it. It will bring amazing, amazing results. You will see the presentation will go much, much smoother with you once you did this exercise, okay? I'm going to change my okay. Okay, let's go back to the presentation, okay? After you did the associative test, it's called the associations method or the associations brainstorming, different ways, okay? Okay, let's go further, okay? If you need to do it, please stop the video and do it. And once you're ready, let's resume. Let's go further. Let's discuss the importance of the mother figure, okay? Mother is a symbol of the Mother Earth, okay? What is Mother Earth? Symbolically, metaphorically, Mother Earth is what produces everything that's live, everything that feeds us, everything that nourishes us, everything that provides, like trees that provide, don't forget what trees really do. Trees provide us with air, okay? The important photosynthesis, if you remember from your school program, your school science program, right, where they discuss photosynthesis, it's what an important component that trees produce that allows us to breathe, okay? And that's a house that's produced by Mother Earth. Mother Earth is the mother of it all, okay? If we think about it again, metaphorically, we talked about it, metaphors, archetypes being within the Western world, the archetypes are mostly of Greek nature. But of course, people from different cultures have different archetypes. If we go to the Western world archetype, Mother Earth is, of course, the Greek goddess of Hera, the Greek goddess of, I forgot what's her Roman name. It's in my mind and I can't remember it, but Hera is definitely the Greek name. I actually know more of Greek gods because that's what I read as a child more than Roman names, but if you ever read Percy Jackson is a Greek, but there's also Rick Riordan wrote books. My kids, one of my daughters for sure, and well, more than one. Few of my kids have read Percy Jackson, and one of them is an avid fan. Two of them actually, but one talks more about it. And they have actually Roman gods based also books. But Hera is a goddess that wants to control everything. Hera is a goddess that wants to take care of everything. Hera is a goddess that wants to own everything. And that's the idea of Mother Earth, giving everything, nourishing, taking care, feeding her children, nurturing her children, okay? At this stage, okay, when the baby is just born, and we are talking, last module, we discussed the soul collecting itself, connecting, and getting the call and answering the call to come to this world. In this module, we're connecting to the figure that represents the world to us, the physical, the reality world, the figure that births us, the figure that brings us into this world, the mother figure, okay? At the stage when the baby is a fetus, which means it's a non-born baby that lives in the womb of the mother, or the baby is a newborn. The mother is a representation of the whole world, because the baby doesn't know anything. The only connection the baby has to the world is through the mother figure. Okay, when I say the mother figure, by the way, I do mean A, the actual mother, birth mother. B, I can mean like somebody like somebody who didn't birth, somebody who had a child through the surrogate mother, right? Somebody who adopted a child. I do mean the primary caregiver, okay? It's very important. We're going to talk about, I did talk about it, I believe, in the attachment theory, how it's important for a child to have a primary caregiver. It's not emotionally and mentally, it is not preferable for a child to have many caregivers in the beginning of the lifetime. Okay, in the beginning, we're going to talk about Erickson. I'm going to make a separate video this week about Erickson stages, where I'm going to talk about certain stages. I'm going to talk about biodynamics, which are based on Erickson stages, by the way. And the idea is that it's important for a baby to have a primary caregiver for the first few months of life. Okay. So it's important that, because that baby needs to form an attachment, needs to form the trust. The way the baby formed attachment is by connecting to one specific person that will fully take care of that baby for the first few months, okay? It's interesting to note, we all come from the uterus of a woman, okay? Nowadays, I think the medicine tries to do various medical, I don't want to call it experimentation, because they're actually, it's not experiment just for the sake of experiment, but actually to preserve life, where they sometimes, there is no medically proven yet facts where a baby was actually conceived and carried out for 9 months in an incubator, okay? A baby has to be carried by an actual woman, by an actual mother figure, okay, by a woman, a person who has a uterus, okay, to specify further. So it's interesting to note, I recently watched a movie. It was an interesting movie. It's about a woman who is basically was about the maternity ward, and it's about the OBGYN, and there was a lot of cases. And they did one case where the woman got into an accident. I think she was like 5 or 6 months pregnant. She would get into an accident and she passed away during the accident, the car accident, and she was technically pronounced dead, but they felt the need, and they did that to preserve the baby, and they put her on a life support. Okay, even though I believe her brain was technically dead, they put her on a life support because this is the only way they could support the growth, continue the growth of a baby within her womb. It was absolutely interesting. It was like episodes with a Russian series, so I can't even post it for you guys to watch, but I'm sure they probably have something similar in English or in language of your country, okay? But that's interesting to watch, because it was very interesting. They said, they were talking about it as they were discussing what to do. They needed consent of the father, right, of the husband, of the partner for the woman. And they were discussing, they were explaining to the father of this unborn fetus, right, baby, that they can't extract the baby. The baby is not able to survive, even if they put it in some kind of like artificial. There is no such thing as incubation period for this age of baby. And so they had to hold the baby in the mother for a few months until the baby would be able to survive out of the womb. And that was very interesting as I was actually preparing this presentation. I was watching it thinking, wow, a law of attraction, how interestingly we attract everything. Right? It's very important to start noticing, right? The woman, we all come from the uterus of a woman, so we need to connect back to that stage. Okay, we need to connect back, and this is the part of session 1 of module 2, as we connect back to being a fetus. Okay, then we're going to go through the birth process, but for now we're being a fetus. Okay, then we're connecting to this woman, to this pod that carries us, right? To this person who carries that. Remember, this is not just a pod. This is not just an inanimate object that carries that, but rather it's an actual life person who has her own emotion, who has her own thoughts, who has her own life conditions that she has to deal with while she's simultaneously carrying a baby. Nobody just sits and carries a baby. Although sometimes they try to want to. With all my pregnancies, I had to be on birth rest, on pregnancy rest, or bed rest, and I couldn't move. And even then, I would watch movies, I would read, I had thoughts and emotions and things happening around me, with my younger children, as I had older children, I still had to deal with them and talk. You see what I'm saying? It was still like a life, so it's important to note there are 2 different mother figures that we deal with. Okay, the first figure we deal with is, we're going to do this exercise, by the way, in the second session. Okay, the first session we're connecting to the mother as this amazing entity that carried us for 9 months and then gave birth to us. In the second session, we're actually going to deal with what happened after birth. We're going to reconnect. We're going to separate the 2 figures, the mother as somebody who gave birth and the mother as somebody who had her own life, had her own emotion, had her own things to deal with. So we need to learn to separate and learn to understand and kind of, I don't want to say accept it in a way, but kind of deal with it in a way. But in session 2, we're going to do an excellent exercise about that. Okay, I have wonderful, wonderful exercise for that. But for now, let's continue with our presentation. Mother's thoughts and emotions are fully transferred. It's important to note, okay? That's why it's important to connect to this mother as the source of everything and anything in the world. Because whatever the mother thought, whatever the mother felt in the beginning, when you were just a fetus, it was transferred to you. You were connected. This is how you found out what the world is like, by her thoughts, by her emotions. If she was worried about things around her, you got that worry, you got the anxiety, you got the message that maybe the world will not take care of me. And the opposite is true. Okay? If the mother was happy, was joyful, was thinking, you know what? I'm being taken care of. I'm supported. I don't have to worry. And the fetus will get that perception as well. Will get that message about the world as an essence of who they are. Okay. A lot of us has anxiety. It comes actually from within the womb. Okay. And anxiety connected us to what the mother felt. Think about the time, whatever year you were born. Think about that historically, that time, that decade. What was that about? I was born in 76, okay? And I remember what the 70s were about. I was born in Soviet Union. Connect back to who you are. Think about it. And you will be able to more understand of the reason for anxiety. There's an interesting movie. I will actually post it. Remind me, I will post it. By Maid Gabor. Okay, he's one of the most important figures within the trauma psychology field. Okay, and there's an amazing movie. I'm going to find it and post it for you guys to watch, where he talks about the babies of the World War II, how they were birthed within the mothers, who were worried about the war, who were worried about hunger, depending on whatever country in Europe they were, even in America, right? Because America was also involved in the war. What they worried, all their anxiety then transferred to the children, and they were born with a certain sense, with a certain level of anxiety already. Think about it. We all live in a world that's not perfect, full of tons of things that we need to deal with every day, both on a general political level and on a personal level, okay? So it's important to start understanding that we connect to it. That's why we're doing this course. That's why we're doing this exercise where we're going to reconnect back to that part of us and give the necessary resources, fulfill, connect us to lots of strength and resources that will bring us back, okay? Because this is the important part to understand with the last sentence. The mother's perception of the future child is the base of a child's self-esteem and self-value. Okay, if the mother is not ready, sometimes that happens for this baby, the child will get the message that the world doesn't want me. The world doesn't need me. Okay, we're going to talk about it in the next part. Today, we're talking about more positive. Next part, we're going to talk about various issues that occur with the mother figure, and that will be one of them. When the mother thinks about abortion, when the mother considers abortion, when the mother feels there's no resources in this world and she has to make an abortion, okay? We're going to talk about it next. Now I'm focusing more on the positive. Let's go further. Interesting to pay attention to. What are the main purposes and tasks of the mother figure? It's to allow the new life to grow within her, okay? Acceptance of this new life within you, this new entity. Letting go appropriately of whatever it is. I remember with one of my children, with my last baby, right? I just started a very interesting, I started doing I created successfully a reading program for children. I was in early childhood, for those of you who know me, I talk about it a lot. Before doing NeuroGraphica and becoming, a psychologist for adults, I actually was a psychologist for kids. I did special education. I was a reading specialist. I actually created my own reading specialist program where I created quite successfully. I worked with children in 3rd grade, in 4th grade. They were gifted children in gifted math programs, but they didn't understand what they were reading or they couldn't even read. Okay, so I successfully created a program where children would get and understand, be able to read successfully. I remember doing this. I remember doing the gifted and talented program, creating a successful program. And then I got pregnant, right? And it was like, this was it. That was a chance for me. I couldn't let go. I'm like, oh no, I just created this program. I want to do this. I want to create this. And like I told you before, all my pregnancy, I usually on bed rest. I can't do much. I have to be not moving physically, right? And remember, that was in 2014. No, I don't know if Zoom was, maybe Zoom did exist, but it wasn't like a widespread thing back then. Okay, so that was something that I was like, oh, and that was an important lesson for me. I had to learn to let go. It took some time for me, okay? It took some months for me to actually learn letting go and say, you know what? And that's the idea. The mother has to learn to let go, has to learn that certain things may not happen, okay? Whether it's timely things like opening a business within the next few months. Some people, pregnant women, are able to do it, some don't, okay? It's about learning your limitations, okay? When you're growing a baby within you, you need to be able to not just, think about yourself, but also physically become aware of certain limitations. You may want to sleep more. You may most women, or some don't, but most women have nausea, so they can't eat well. They have high blood pressure. I remember me being I easily would like I wouldn't faint, but all of a sudden I would have dizziness spells. A lot of women go through that. It's blood pressure being, my blood pressure was always recordly low. I remember every time I would go, every few weeks I would go for a doctor's visit. They would like, if it was a new nurse, she would be like, oh, her blood pressure is too low. And then the regular nurse would come and say, oh no, that's normal for her. Okay, so that was an interesting part. People have different physical, talking about pediatric, not pediatric, I'm sorry, it's diabetes. Some women get diabetes while they're pregnant, gestational diabetes is called, so they have to watch their sugar. They have to watch what they eat. They can't eat not just sugar. They can't eat anything made out of flour. They have to focus more on vegetables and meat. And it's again, changing lifestyle, okay? So mothers have to learn this. Letting go appropriately is what it's about. Learning your limitations, learning what you can and cannot do for the next 9 months, okay? For some people, it's eating sushi, okay? It's eating raw fish. It's eating raw meat if you're into like cold cuts and stuff like that. A lot of doctors advise against it. I ate and I'm okay. My kids are, thank God, okay. There's no problem. But I know I didn't eat any mercury high fish, but I did eat like some raw fish. I ate sushi. But again, that's personal, okay? People choose. Certain things you definitely cannot do. Smoking, eating, like I said, fish with mercury is very important not to eat, certain things you can choose. Some people are like more like, I will never do this. I remember with my first baby when I was pregnant with my daughter, my oldest, I would wash my hands insanely, right? With soap every single minute because it was like in my head. But again, it's in your head. Remember to understand, but that's what it is. Following doctor's orders. Doctor will give you specific order. What's more important for you? What are your specific needs? And that's the idea. Letting go appropriately is connecting, okay? Some mothers are ready for it. Some mothers need some time to go through it. Okay, nourishment. Okay, talking about food, of course, but also talking about spiritual, mental, emotional. With each, I have 5 kids, thank God. For those of you who didn't know, with each child, it was something new. It was an actual spiritual growth. Okay, it was done differently through different ways, through various venues. Okay, with each single child of mine, I remember specifically what I learned, how I grew, what was the new philosophy I adapted in life, okay? The new value that I kind of refitted within myself, okay? Maybe it was the old value that I kind of tried on and now understand the world differently. But one way or another, each specific child was growth, spiritual growth, okay? Because as you grow mentally, as you grow emotionally, it all leads you to certain spiritual growth. And that's what it is, okay? Important to understand the respecting toward the unique capabilities of your future baby, okay? Important to respect the unique abilities, unique skills, unique way this new baby will be. It will not be exactly who you are. It will not be exactly what you want to be, okay? So that's important to keep in mind, but it's also equally important, as much as we say that, to actually start thinking, what do you want your baby to be like, okay? To learn to understand. That's why, by the way, the first trimester, a lot of women sleep more. They need more rest because that's what it is. It's a process of creation, okay? And you should equally get involved in it mentally, imagination-wise, fantasy-wise. How do you see your baby? What do you want your baby to be like, okay? It's very interesting to get that. Support, okay? Connect to support. Get support from outside. See who can support you and connect to those people, okay? Certain people won't be able to support. I'm going to talk more about this. Support is very important for a future mother, okay? For a woman who's pregnant, because through that support, she will convey the message to her baby. She conveys the message to her baby that you are supported in this world. And this is the baby, okay? As I'm talking about more about the mother, I want you to kind of connect to it, both from the side of a fetus that you once went, and from the side of understanding this mother figure, what it represents, why it's important to us, okay? The mother is the figure of containment of emotion. I'm going to make a separate video. As in session 2, we're actually going to discuss the emotions. I'm going to make a completely separate video for us to learn more about what emotions represent and how the mother is the figure that connects us to, teaches us about what emotions represent, how we can use emotions as resources for growth, for understanding, okay, for support as a resource. Okay, safety and security. The mother figure is your connection to safety and security. However mother feels, you're going to feel. As the mother feels safe and secure, you will feel. The mother actually provides safety and security for you as a fetus, as she houses you in her tummy, and she makes sure to take care of it. She makes sure nothing punctures her, nothing touches her body, okay, that she's out of harm's way. That's an important part to understand. Taking care of the child up to the age of adulthood, okay? It's the mother, and that's again, the job of a mother during the pregnancy. Create that understanding within herself that she's here, taking care of this new person, being responsible at times letting go of certain things, at times respecting things that the child will not agree with you, okay? Learning to respect that, learning to work with that, learning to create the sacred space, so to say. First, in the beginning, that will involve both you and your baby, is a fetus, right? That's a sacred space, is the womb, the mother's uterus, right? Then that the baby will emerge from the sacred space. And then you have an outside sacred space. As you create a home, as you create opportunities for children to learn from you and also learn to not be like you. It's very important. We're gonna deal with it in module 3. No, module 4, I'm sorry. As we learn the separation, actually that will be module 5. As we learn to separate correctly. Okay, and that's an important part. Connecting to the world, to the next 18 years, right? Me and my friend, we used to have a joke, okay? For the next 18 years, we're taking, but once that's over, we're cruising the world, okay? We're like always joke. We're going to be those old ladies who are traveling the world, okay? I don't know about red nails, but I will be the one traveling the world, okay? And that's the idea. For the next 18 years, you're busy. You have plans. Doesn't mean that your child will take fully of your plan. You still have to do. You can still travel. But that child of yours, by the way, will be your most important thing in the world, okay? Just prepare for that emotionally, mentally, and it's a beautiful thing, okay? Connect to that the mother figure represents that, okay? And of course, like I mentioned before, being aware of various stages of development, being aware of the fact that in the beginning, the baby will be fully dependent on you. So you will need to spend more time. Then the babies grow up. You spend a little less time. You still spend more time. Once the children become teenagers, you spend less time physically, but more time also mentally, and sometimes the opposite. Sometimes the teenagers don't want to be with you mentally. They don't want to talk to you, but you still need to take care of them physically. You still feed them. You still help them understand how the world works, taking care of the laundry and everything, it still stays. They want to separate from you, but not when it comes to feeding and laundry, okay? Just remember that. But that's what it is, okay? Connect to that representation of the mother figure. All of everything that I just told you, think how complex the mother figure is. Yet to you, it doesn't matter. You use one word that represents all of the complexities within that figure. You call the name mama or mother or mom, Ima, whatever the name, whatever the word is in your language. And I know in Turkish, right? Different languages. Most, by the way, languages do use the word mama, okay? But yeah, connect to that word. Let's talk about what it represents. Look at that list you created, right? The association list. Look what it represents to you, okay? Within the mother figure is the first world of the child. Okay, when everything is going good, then being within the womb, being within the mother figure, it is a connection to the world around you. It is a connection to the universe, okay? The fetus only sees the world through the mother. Remember that part, okay? So your connection to the mother figure, that basic, that essential connection is the mother is my world, okay? The fetus hears the following messages: the world and the safe, all connected. I am connected to the world. We're connected. We're inseparable. Why? Because remember, the fetus is fully connected to the mother and fully dependent upon the mother. Although it feeds, automatically, right? Whatever the mother eats, the umbilical cord just feeds the baby. But that's a message that the fetus get. The world is wonderful. Look at this. I'm being taken care of. I don't even have to do anything. I don't have to send any message. I get automatically fed. I get automatically sheltered. Think about pyramid, Maslow's pyramid. Remember the levels we constantly go through, right? A lot of courses, the specialist course, we do this in the quality of life, right? The goals and values course, we went through it in details. I am sheltered. All 5 levels are taken care of. I'm sheltered. I'm connected. I'm taken care of emotionally. My mother loves me. That means the world loves me. Okay, I'm taking care of mentally, whatever my mother thinks. Oh, I love this beautiful music. I love this movie. Oh, I'm enjoying this book, right? With my first daughter, I read Harry Potter. That was my beginning of my journey with Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter series. I read them numerous times. A big fan, right? But that's what it is, right? Connection. The world needs me. It's another message. the mother knows that she needed. She's still taking care of her family, or she's still working. She's still taking care of herself, right? And it's a connection that, I am not here, nihilo, right, for nothing. I'm here for a reason. That's the message the baby gets, okay, the fetus gets. And of course, the opposite effect occurs. Again, we're going to discuss it more in details next session, next video that I'll create within the next week. If the mother has a lot of worries, a lot of fear, she would feel unsafe in her world. She doesn't trust her partner, or she feels and is alone. And the fetus records. Remember, this is all recorded within our subconscious. Okay, that's why it's important for us to reconnect back on this level. The world is a dangerous place where one needs to be constantly alert. That's why some people have this emotional need to feel anxiety, to feel needed. Okay. A lot of clients say, everything is going fine. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, boom, something goes off in my world. Why? Because we constantly feel the need to be constantly alert. And if the environment doesn't provide it, then we'll create the environment that will provide it, that will get us feel anxiety, that will get us to feel, we need to be alerted. This, moment. And that's why we need to connect back to this session, to this moment, that we're going to do it during the drawing in the next session, okay? Within the womb existence, the person doesn't retain memories of the womb life. It's important to notice. It's completely subconscious, okay? However, it does have a colossal meaning within the adult formation. Even though we don't connect it, we know it's so important. It connects us to who we are, to the essence of who and what we are. Okay, very important to connect to it, okay? The mother figure, is a symbol of the Mother Earth. Okay, notice the picture, the Mother Earth here, but over here we see grass. Within each one of us is born. It's very important to pay attention. What are the properties of that earth that will produce? Grass will produce trees, okay? We discussed in the previous session, remember when we discussed the elements, how the air element, the wood element, on the beginning level, it's grass, but then stronger level, it's a tree. Okay. And it's important to pay attention. If you talk to a farmer, they will talk about properties of the earth before they farm. Same thing comes to the mother. We connect to the essence of who our mother is, what our mother was like. What the mother figure was like is actually very important to who we are, the essence of who we are. After the 9 months of pregnancy, right, comes the labor and the birthing process. Labor and birth are subconscious processes. Aiding the subconscious processes is not preferred, it's not necessary. But more importantly, is not to interfere with that subconscious process, okay? It's a quote by Michelle Oden. It's interesting to note that during the birth process, I actually learned that, it's interesting, all 5 pregnancies, I had the best birth with my last child, okay? I was the most conscious, the most aware, because that's where I learned. With each pregnancy, I learned, and the most amount of preparation, even though for the first child, I went to the Lamaze class as the last child, and the other children I didn't. But it's interesting to know that with each birth, with each pregnancy, with each process, I grew and I grew in my learning to trust my body. The last child, I was truly, totally, fully connected with my body. And I'll tell you, I had the best birth experience. My child is not, compared to other children, less anxious, she's very confident, she knows what she wants, she knows what she doesn't want, she gets what she wants. And it's very important to understand that, okay? Learning to trust, learning to learn about your body, learning to get to know your body, learning about the process of birth. I remember learning about the process, every single part, every stage. Get yourself knowledgeable about it, okay? Prepare yourself for this. Know, right? Knowledge is power. They say that's exactly what it is, okay? Connecting to the mother, okay? The mother during birth needs support and safe space, okay? She needs warmth, she needs silence, she needs darkness, okay? A lot of times when people give birth in hospital settings, it's not There's no warmth. I remember my person, I had to give birth in hospital all the time. No warmth, usually air conditioner is blasting. Okay, so I remember feeling chilly. Silence, definitely not screaming. Again, the last baby, the last two children, I was in a quiet section, so that was great. But the first three, no, it was very loud, very, anxiety producing. Okay, and darkness, definitely no darkness. They put a lot of light, all those specific type of lights. What do you call them? You know what I'm talking about, the luminescent one, right? No, opposite. Okay, that's why a lot of women give birth in those, what do you call that? Not the hospitals, but like birthing centers where they create more of an atmosphere. Okay, but people with high risk pregnancies, that had high risk pregnancies, I couldn't give birth there, so they have to go to the hospital. That's an idea. Okay. It's important to start understanding during the birth, the baby moves instinctually. The baby knows what to do. And if no one obstructed the mother, no one obstructs the way the fetus works, the birthing process, and the mother doesn't bother it, have a natural process, then everything will go fine. Okay. And during the labor, both the baby and the mother get born. Okay. Remember, the birth process is not just for the baby, it's also for the woman. It has been proven on a biological and anatomical level that during birth, the mother actually creates new cells within her. And that's the idea that during birth, the mother gets also born. Okay, she gets completely reborn. Her cells undergo a new rebirth. Okay, her body goes through the whole new renewal process. That's important to understand. Let's go further. The golden hour. Okay, right after the fetus is born, the baby is born, the newborn baby, literally newborn baby, within seconds. It's very important. It has been proven by research. It's very important to place the baby on the mother's skin to skin feeling. Okay, the baby has to be placed. Sometimes they do it after they clean the baby. Sometimes they don't even clean the baby. They put it right away. It's like red and all like crinkly, and they put it on the mother's skin, and the baby connects back to this. Remember this connection that the fetus had, that I'm the mother is one. And once it gets separated, they say the biggest trauma any person go through is the birth, right? Because they get separation, okay? And once the baby is placed on the mother, it kind of gets back the soothing, okay? It's like, okay, I'm back again with this one figure, this mother figure, this entity that birthed me, that housed me for 9 months. I'm back together, okay? This separation anxiety that most people have as a trauma of birth kind of lessens. Okay, it's very important. Okay, this is very important for the development of deep and reliable connection, trust, and love. Okay, they say it actually occurs on the chemical level. Okay, it's very instinctual, it's very biological. It's important for the baby to feel the skin, connect to the mother, connect back to the smell, to this essence, to the aura of the mother within seconds after birth. Okay. Because remember, mother is the object of the following, right? Now, I think we understand this word more, right? All those followers on social media. Well, guess what? The biggest follower of the mother is the baby. Okay, the baby wants to be with the mother. It needs to be with the mother. It's the most important need for this newborn baby to be back with the mother. The first inhale of the mother scent. Okay, it's going back to the archetypes. It's ambrosia. Okay, it's going back to the biblical archetype. It's the manna. Okay, the manna involved. The manna wasn't actually real food, but it's more was like this evanescent entity that would take the taste of whatever you wanted. That's what the mother represents to the baby, to the newborn baby. The smell is just aroma, okay? The best perfume ever. Even though the mother may feel like, oh, I'm sweating, I'm tired, but it doesn't matter. The baby, it's the most important, the most nurturing, the most loving feeling and scent ever. Okay, once the baby is done, for that golden hour, they say they should do it for the first hour after birth, right? the child connects, baby, the newborn connects to this feeling of support, that I am supported, okay? And it brings that feeling for the whole life, okay? This connection to feeling support. Initiation, it's initiation into the world. The mother initiates by this hug, by this first skin-to-skin moment, it's initiation in the world. And the beginning of the basic trust in the world, to the world, and for the world, okay? You can use all three of this not adjectives, yeah, I think maybe it is adjectives. I don't remember the grammar word for it in English, for this sentence, okay? It's a connection, it's connecting, first, it's a harsh reality, traumatic experience where the baby gets anxiety, separation anxiety, because it had to be separated, had to be ejected, it was ejected by the womb, okay? If the process goes natural, like we mentioned, if nobody obstructed, the baby will go through it, and then once it exits, it connects back to the mother, and the message it gets is that even though my womb ejected you, I do not reject you. I accept you. I still love you. I nature, and guess what? I made a commitment to take care of you. Only it will be on a different level, on a higher level. We will learn to connect to each other on an outside level. And that's the important message the baby gets once it gets placed on the mother's skin-to-skin body, okay? And then, of course, after the hour, the baby does need to be taken away. They usually get washed, they usually taken care of, they do something specific. And they get placed in that room that's full of babies, right? And it's important to note, okay, what the connection between that hour time, by the way, those of you who were born in the 60s, basically, I think that in the 60s, they didn't practice that much, the golden hour practice. It's even in the, I'll tell you, my older children were born 2002 and 2003. Even back then, they didn't practice it back then. With my younger children, I definitely had it more. So my two younger children who were born in 2012 and 14, that was important for sure. They gave me the baby right away after birth. They didn't even like clean it, just gave it to me. And I was like, whoa, look at this change. Like every year, every 2 years, every 5 years, 10 years make a big, huge difference in the field of perinatal, in the field of birth, okay? So those of you who were born, let's put it this way, before 2000, before the 90s, okay, let's say some people practice it in the 90s, even 80s. Before that, if you were born before in the 80s, that means your mother figure did not get to experience, you didn't get to experience that golden hour with your mother figure, and that's an important part. This is what we're doing in this reparenting, rebirthing experience, and we're going to do in the practice. We're going to actually do it as we do, and that's the next, as I'm going to do the complementary drawing, the Grof, Stanislav Grof's matrices. That will be a complementary drawing for this session, for this course, okay? And that's exactly what we're going to re-experience, the golden hour, because most of us didn't go through that. And when it's very important for us to re-experience, it's very important for us to hear, to get the messages that we're intended to get. If this practice were to be taking place, okay, would take place. And then, of course, one way or another, even after the golden hour, as the mother needs to recuperate, the babies do get physically separated, actually placed in this little beds, okay? And they get actually physically separate because they often get placed in a separate room, okay, away from the mother. So that initial connection gets interrupted, okay, which leads to anxiety, leads to worry. Again, this is our perception of what we feel like, oh no, perception of like, oh, mother is not there to love me and give me warmth and give me care. She doesn't want to be, or she cannot be, or she. So basically, the two major traumas that people get is either abandonment or rejection. Okay, according to one of the opinions, if we follow Liz Bourbeau's opinion, she says that the boys get the trauma of abandonment, and the girls get the trauma of rejection. So other psychologists tend to kind of argue whether it's right or wrong. We're not going to go into it. It's too much of a separate discussion to be talking about it now. But the idea is the same, okay? One or another, these children, especially if they didn't, like us, we didn't go, most of us didn't go. I would say probably 99% of us didn't go through the golden hour. Very rarely we had parents who were able to go through the proper birth, including the golden hour, right? And as a result, produces people who are constant attention seeking because they didn't get that during that important part. Okay, there was no golden hour, the baby gets separated right away. And as a result, that leads to the lack of the basic trust in the world. Okay, and remember, that's what I said, most of us are born this way. So this is the part of what we're going to deal with. Okay, when we're going to do the drawings, the practice. Okay, we're going to give the resources that will reduce, hopefully even taking away anxiety, the worry, the absence of motherly love, this constant attention because we didn't get it when we needed it. Okay, we will give back this reinventing, rebirthing experience of after the golden hour of afterbirth experience. Okay. By the way, when I do this, remember I told you I based this course on the practice of lulling. The lulling or lullabying experience is actually after the what I showed you a little video where the baby kind of, or the adult kind of gets rebirth, right? The mother actually holds the baby in her lap. Okay, there's a reenactment of the golden hour. And that's, again, if you have a chance to do this physically, I'm inviting you. You can contact me. I live in Florida, USA. You're welcome to come, and I will be so happy to. This is, guys, life-changing experience, okay, life-changing practice. But again, reparenting course is as close as it gets. Okay, so that's an important part to start understanding. This is what we will reconnect during our practice. Feeding in the image of the mother, okay? Afterwards, of course, the connection goes to the breastfeeding, okay? It's interesting to start noting, I specifically placed this, give me a second. Trying to move a picture on myself, okay? I specifically placed this picture, right? A Madonna with a child, the usual, it's, I think, like what, 50, 60, 70% of the Renaissance style art, right? And of course, iconic style art, right? That was classical art, mother feeding the baby, okay? And within all of us, it's within our archetypal memory, within our collective subconscious, okay? And that's what a lot of us probably put as association words, feeding or nourishing, right? Because a mother we associate with that. And of course, it connected to the actual way before the bottle feeding was introduced, right? Last century, it was all about the breastfeeding, okay? The image of the mother breastfeeding her baby is imbued with the energy of love, okay? The idea, the image that's associated with it is that the milk just flows through it. The symbolism of nourishment, okay? Milk flows like a river, and the baby takes as much as needed. The mother is open, and she transmits. And the child is open, and the child receives. Again, all this archetypes, connection, right? Being able to receive, being open to receiving the resources, the abundance, right? A lot of people go through this, I'm open to receive abundance, those confirmations and all that stuff. So this is where it comes, okay, guys? Connection to the breastfeeding, whether you know if your mother breastfed you or not, or how was the process, maybe you know, maybe you don't know. But one way or another, whatever transpired back then, we can relive this experience, okay? If the breast milk is not available, it is important to hold your baby when bottle feeding, okay? Connection, providing emotional connection again. We're going to connect back to it as we're going to draw, as we practice, we'll connect back to this breastfeeding part, connecting back. It's important to note sometimes mothers felt like the mother figure felt more like dominant, pushing the food into the children. A lot of times this happened when mothers are not aware that when a child produces a cry, it doesn't just mean that the child is hungry, but it also means that the child just needs attention, maybe needs to be picked up, or maybe needs to be fed. A lot of times mothers, and that's where, by the way, eating disorders come from. mothers would just plop, push that breast into the babies. And because the baby does use the breast as a nourishment as well as emotional support. And that's why in many cultures, babies are fed until the age of 4, and it's not about food. It's obvious that they don't get any nutritional value, but it's more about emotional support. It's more about emotional, mental, spiritual connection to the mother. Okay, the child gets soothed by the breast. Okay, and it actually stopped at the age of 4 because that's when children start in many cultures going to preschools. And that's appropriate age, by the way, for children to go to preschool. Before the age of 3 or 4 or even 5, it's not so preferable because the children still need to get connection. They should be opportunities for social play, but it shouldn't be on a constant basis like the way modern day daycares are based, okay? So that's an important part, okay? Important to be aware of the fact, not pushing the breast whenever the child fusses, okay? Not using it as a pacifier, not using it as a way to kind of shut the child up, okay? Again, we're going to talk about the emotional, learning how to emotionally teach your children about emotions and being able to express various emotions. It brings to this idea, okay, again, working with the idea that mom's breast belongs to me, okay? When the child does if this happened, when mothers actually bring the idea to the child that, here, the breast is the way to soothe yourself, without the actual emotional connection or actual acceptance of emotions of a baby, then the child grows up thinking my mom's breast belonged to me, okay? And that goes, again, we're going to talk more about like more pathological parts of connection between the mother and the fetus and the baby in the next session, okay? And of course, the weaning from the breast needs to be done in a great way, in a way where it's comfortable. Sometimes when it's done abruptly, when it's not done in the right way, the child does get the wrong message that the mother doesn't want me. It gets a message of trauma, abandonment, or rejection, okay? And we're going to work with that, okay? The reason I'm telling you about it is because you probably had one of those. And we're going to kind of go back, kind of reenact the process so we can, in a controlled environment, give the necessary resources for us to understand that, no, I wasn't rejected or abandoned. I was loved. Okay? Support for the new mother, okay? We are all aware we're going to talk more about it, I guess, next session again, as we talk about the becoming more and more important and awareness grows for the postpartum depression. But for now, we're going to talk about the other side of it, okay? Before the postpartum depression develops, it's important as a new mother to be fully supported by her surrounding, by her family members, by her community, okay? Support system for the newborns and caregivers cannot be overstated. It's very important. Why? Because when new parents feel supported, they create a more caring and healthy environment for their baby. This is the major message that I want to give you, okay? Specialists, there's a nonprofit company called 0 to 3. They discuss, they research the way kids develop between the age of 0 to 3, right? And they say that kids in homes where they get supported, they go and fare better academically and socially, okay? 48% research says new parents don't feel they have the support they need when they're stressed, okay? And we all know taking care of newborn can involve a lot of stressful situations, okay? Support for the new mother, okay? It's very important that little babies bring sleepless nights, long days, adjustment for the mother, adjustment for the father often, but most of the time it's the mother's toll, right? She has to take care of it a lot more. It's very important to have a strong support system, okay? Families, get your families involved. Let them help you with the household chores, okay? Let me give you a chance to maybe soothe the baby or take care of the siblings or, take care of other children or take care of the husband or take care of the rest of the family while you get a chance to nap and offer emotional support, understanding, very important, acceptance of various types of emotions as hormonal change that the mother goes through is important. Friends, okay, are important. network to fall upon, co-workers, right? Community, okay? In my community, it's it's a practice to provide food for the newborn, not just for the newborn by mom, but also for the whole family, make food, send food over. I personally like to participate in such practice. I enjoy doing it. Like it's a different connection when you cook food for somebody and you send it. And you know this is to support the new creation, the new addition to the family, the new addition to the community. It's such a, and I'll tell you, I went through it, I'm not gonna say 5, well, yeah, I would say 5 times, because with my older kids, my mother would help me out a lot. She would cook, she would come, she would take care. It was a huge help, okay? But with my younger kids, it was a community that helped me. They would provide food. My mother passed away at that time already. She wasn't around when I gave birth to the 3 younger kids. And that's what it was. It was, I felt this nurturing, okay, very important. It wasn't about the food, which it was, because you get constantly, with me at least, once you start breastfeeding, you get constantly hungry. But it also was about the support system, you know? So you know you're taken care of, your kids are taken care of, you know, you're giving food for the first month after the birth. It's a practice. And it was, I'll tell you, invaluable help, okay? It was absolutely amazing. And yeah, I participate myself, you know. And of course, this is the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Of course, we're taking to the new height to say it takes a village to support new parents, okay? Let's go further beyond the birthing experience. Let's go to such idea of the body image and the mother's attitude toward her body, okay? A lot of times after birth, because the mother's body has changed, it underwent a serious transformation of 9 months carrying the baby, the stretching of the body, the stretching of the skin, the stomach, the all the organs moving around. If you remember what the pregnancy was like, you know, it was never, you couldn't eat normal, you couldn't do stuff normal, right? And it was connection, you know, it was rearranging of the body organs between, again, everything falling back as the baby comes out. The mother actually goes through an array of transformation, physical, which leads to, of course, mental and emotional. And keeping that, and that's on top of the fact that she has to take care of this new life. We talked about her connection, her commitment to being there for the baby, okay? So one or another, it's a two-way street, right? It's a two-sided coin, because on one side, she has to take care of a new being, but on the other hand, she wants to, she should be reconnecting back to her body, reconnecting back to her, and that image will change, okay? She looks at the mirror and it's a different body. The way it's different, it looks different, right? And here comes all the emotional, all these insecurities, emotional, mental, of course, physical insecurities. Do I look good enough? I'm changing. Is it a good change? How will my body change? Will I be, the most important question that everybody goes through? Any single woman, she may be Kim Kardashian, you know, the most popular woman, or any other celebrity, but she will inevitably go through this insecurity question, asking herself, will I be as attractive as I was before? Okay, this will I, what if kind of question in a different realm, okay? And it's very important for us to understand, the reason I'm telling you is that we were all connected to the mother figure, because the way the mother feels about her body is what she transpires to her child. Her child will get that message. Remember this connection, this unverbal connection that the child has with the mother. Whatever the mother feels emotional, the child will get. Whatever the mother feels verbally, mentally, the child will get. It's the aura of the mother that the child gets without any words or any signals being sent, okay? And this connection that the mother feels anxiety, insecurity about her body will inevitably be transpired to the child, who will connect it with their own body. Okay, the mother feels, am I secure enough? Am I attractive enough? And the child kind of mirrors her thoughts. Am I secure enough? Am I attractive enough? Am I beautiful enough? Will people still like me? Will they find me beautiful? Will they find me attractive? The child on a completely subconscious level gets that message. And remember what I said, it's all a part of our essence of who we are on a deep subconscious level, okay? And it's very important that emotionally, that's why it's important to make a process I remember doing that with my kids. Bathing them was an actual fun process. We made it a fun process for the child to feel connected to her body, to their body. One son and 4 girls, okay? So I sometimes say her, right? To whoever, her or his body, okay? To feel connected, to feel, joyful about the body. I personally had a traumatic experience with my body for whatever reason, not going to go into it, and that was changing, that's still changing, okay? It's my lifelong challenge that I work with, working with my body, getting my body, accepting my body, working with my body, seeing my body, okay? But that's what it is. And the child will connect whatever the mother transcribes, A, toward herself, B, toward her child, whenever she changes the child. That's why it's important a lot of people say it's a process, singing to the child, reading to the child, talking to the child when you change, okay? Not doing it mechanically or by necessity. We're not talking about nighttime, of course. Nighttime when you sleep, you're just doing it mechanically. We're talking about daytime. Association, again, a lot of times that people say newborn, especially the first few months, month or 2 or 3, while the baby is still most consciously sleeping, right? It's important to use the changing and the feeding times as a time of emotional connection to the baby, okay? Caressing, touching, stroking, hugging, admiring, letting the child know we're going to do this, okay? We're going to talk about the messages. I'm going to create a separate video where we're going to discuss, and I'm going to give you the messages we send to our body, okay? I'm going to think about making it an open session so everybody can benefit from it, okay? I want everybody to benefit, okay? There was a reason for that, why I made this course so affordable price-wise, okay? The only thing I won't be able to make open is the drawing session. But that's why all my theory sessions are open for you guys to enjoy, to watch. I'm going to think about making the message. You can do that messages to yourself, okay? The difference is the attitude, okay? That's an important part, okay? The mother figure is our first mirror. This is continuing the conversation from before, okay? The mother figure shows the baby who he or she is and how they can be treated, okay? The mother figure reflects the baby and gives the very first information about the world. Primarily, the mother, by the way, represents our inner world, the way we see ourselves. That's why I said the essence of who we are. We notice, we get that message from the mother figure, okay? Who I am I valued, self-value, self-esteem. That's the message we get from the mother, okay? Remember in the beginning, the first few months of birth, by the way, there is no separation. Whatever the child on a subconscious level, emotional, mental, as I said, whatever the mother feels, or they just get it automatically because they don't know how to separate, because they were so used for 9 months to being a part of the mother that they think the mother is the world. And that's what the first year is about. Okay, that's what the second module is, learning to connect to the mother and also to learn to separate from it at one point. Next session, the session 1, we're connecting to the mother. Session 2, we're going to learn to separate from the mother, okay? But the message that the baby gets is, mother is me. Okay, so the mother's attitude toward herself is very important for the baby's attitude when the baby learns about themselves, okay? The mother finds herself to be valued, loved, and she gives herself that message, the baby will get it automatically. Of course, it's good for the baby to actually verbally and emotionally hear it from the mother, but even if it doesn't, if the mother is confident about herself, loves herself, takes care of herself, provides self-care, connects to the support around her, she will give that attitude to the baby. It's interesting to start noting, okay? Maybe I'll make a separate workshop video. The mother figure and sexuality. Sexuality is a connection to creativity and enjoyment. This is something I want you to ponder upon, okay, as we are finishing this presentation. Is there a connection between those two? Is there a connection between the way we see the mother figure, our connection to the mother figure, and sexuality, in light of what we talked about, the body image, okay? A sexuality being as a connection to creativity and enjoyment, okay? I want you to think, again, we're going to talk more about emotional connection. We're going to talk about more about certain emotions being unaccepted. And by that, we do mean something more than just emotions, such as sexuality and aggressiveness. I'm going to talk about it in details, okay? But for now, I want to kind of leave you with that pondering. Think about it. What is the connection between the way we connect to the mother figure and our sexuality, and sexuality connecting us to creativity and joy, enjoying something, okay? Ability to enjoy something, okay? Connecting us to the idea that mother is a collective, the mother figure is a collective, as a collective image, okay? The image of a mother is not just a mother, but it's other females. It's connecting us to all other females. First, physically around us and our surrounding grandmother, nanny, aunt, sisters, okay? Then connecting, of course, as we grow older, female friends, being ability to make to form female friendships, okay? And of course, later on to connect it, not just later on, but subconsciously connecting us to the female archetypes within us, okay? And of course, the idea of the mother as the beginning of all female archetypes, right? What I just said, within the child's consciousness and subconsciousness, including the collective subconsciousness. We're going to talk now for the next two parts. We're going to talk about two types of connection as we grow up. Connection between the female baby and the mother, which is the mother and the daughter. Mother, the guide to the world of women, right? And having a certain relationship, we talked about this, mother, the guide to the world of women here, where the mother was a collective image. And the idea that as you grow up with a mother, it's a prototype of your relationship with yourself, your femininity, your motherhood, your sexuality, your inner world, okay? It's interesting to note, right? The mother and the daughter are a direct flow of feminine energy in the family. Okay, interesting. What I compiled here is pictures from movies. There's much more movies, but certain movies about the relationship between the mother and the daughter, the complexity and the essentiality of forming, okay? Over here, of course, is the Little Women. Out of all of this one, I don't think I didn't watch this too, actually. Little Woman is my favorite. Okay, I like the one the movie where it's with Winona Ryder playing Joe. Okay, I didn't see this one, by the way. This is a different picture, but this is a little woman. There are four sisters connecting to their mother. Of course, the beautiful Disney Brave movie of her connection to her mother. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I love, my favorite. Love the book. Love the movie. Joy Luck Club. The book is amazing. Totally one of my favorite books to read. Something I completely invite you all to read. Okay, haven't watched this movie, but I heard so much about it. I should watch it with my girls. I'm thinking. I forgot the name of this movie. It kind of escaped my mind, but this is a famous movie. Freaky Friday. There we go. Freaky Friday, where they switch bodies. Okay. So basically the daughter's kind of spirit went into the mother's body and the mother went into her daughter. So they get to kind of walk a mile in each other's shoes, so to say. Hairspray, haven't watched, but that's, I guess, also something I should maybe watch with my girls. Okay, of course, the mother here played wonderfully by John Travolta. Very funnily. Okay, I think it's worth to watch it just for that. Okay. I haven't watched this movie fully, The Red Panda, but also connecting the relationship between the mother and the daughter. And again, when we talk about relationships, it's everything. It's a perception of oneself as a connection, as the extension of your relationship with your mother. Okay. And I love this movie, the Mother's Day movie. The mother here is comes from like the southern state. She only values traditional relationships, while her daughters, one is homosexual and one is married to a non-white guy, so the mother has to reevaluate her relationship with her daughters, and that's what it's about. It's a beautiful movie. I love that movie. It's called Mother's Day. It's very funny to me. But yeah, okay, and it's interesting to start going in a different direction. It's the relationship between the mother and the male child, the mother and the son. Okay, I thank God, fortunate enough to have both son and daughter. So yeah, I want to tell a completely different relationship. Besides the fact that I have a completely different relation between which one of my daughters, it's also different between the son, right? Mother is a guide to the world of feelings. Very important, okay? If girls naturally have this access to emotions, with boys, it's about learning how to handle emotions. Again, we're going to talk about it during the next week as we prepare for the next session. And it's a prototype of all the relationships with women in the future. Okay. Connection to female friends, connection to girlfriend, connection to future wife, mother of your future children, all that stuff. A mother who believes in her son recognizes the strength, okay? Important to connect to the fact that her son is a representative of the masculine energy, which is separate from hers, which is a feminine energy. Connection that she provides the feminine energy and he is the kind of the person who brings the masculine energy in the world, okay? The mother who recognizes, loves, and respects his father, connection to the fact that the mother, like I said, recognizes, loves, respects his father, and that will teach the boy to respect the masculine energy within. And of course, the mother's prayer, connection to the mother's prayer. Okay, and of course, here I compiled the movies that connect to the mother-son relationship. Forrest Gump, of course, beautiful portrayal. Portrayal how the mother connects to her son. She takes care, she fully nurtures, she takes care, she supports, she protects the rights of her handicapped child, right? Home Alone, the favorite, right? Connection between the mother, how she was worried all the time that she left him alone. Love this movie, right? Forgot the name of it. Jerry Maguire, of course, with Tom Cruise, but it's beautifully played by this little boy. The connection between the mother and the son is absolutely unique. Back to the Future. He stands up for his mother. He stands up for her rights. He takes care of her. He wants to protect her. Okay. Didn't see this movie. Look it up, Jennifer Garner. And I don't know this movie, but when I did the research, I liked the picture. So I took it. If you know the name, welcome to post it. Okay. Watched the other 4 movies, loved it. And that's what it is. Within our reparenting course in the practice module, as we draw, this is what we're going to reconnect, okay? Again, inviting you to join the reparenting course. You have even in the middle of the course, you can join. We have had 2 sessions so far. This is the 3rd. It's taking place on Thursdays. The special introductory price is now $158. I'm sorry, I should remove this. It's not about before February 8th. It's without any deadline for now. Okay, until the end of the program. Welcome to Connect. We'll meet live on Thursdays at 12 p.m. EST, okay? More information, more content you can read on my websites, NeuroGraphicaUSA.com and LanaShalom.com. And I want to thank you for joining me today for this wonderful, wonderful presentation and connecting with me as we discuss the importance and the essence of the mother figure in our life and how we can reconnect to it during the reparenting course and give the necessary resources, recreate the necessary essence of who we are through the mother figure.